know that finding the right mate is just not about chemistry. Yeah, it's just not about only compatibility and the respect you may have for someone and the character connection. It's much more than that. And this talk here is about how I'm giving my view as a young woman that's going to help women understand how to recognize the right mate that you believe is a good mate. And I'm going to give you some of those ideas and those thoughts process that you believe makes a good mate. Now, I'm giving you, a few. It's many, many more that I'm going to talk about in the future. But this right now is just giving you an idea of what you seek when you're looking to have a genuine mate within your life, right? And sometimes we don't think about that. So thank you for joining me. We're going to get right into that. I am Dr. Pamela Smith. Thank you for joining me. I've been helping men and women for over 20 years now, helping them find love, get love, and keep love. And that's what, I love doing, and that's what I'm going to do. So make sure you continue to subscribe and share and let other people know that I give you information that help you with your relationship, help you change what's around you so that you can be in a place of peace, joy, and happiness. Okay? So now, as you see, this topic is for ladies that want to know what it is and what does it take to find or have a good mate. Now, I say mate because I don't want to just talk about men, because we are in a world where there are heterosexual relationship and homosexual relationship. So we have to say mate so that you can understand what the conversation is about, right? So let's talk about that. When you're looking for or into a relationship, you want to make sure that mate gives you and provide the things that you believe that makes it a success, right? And what I found that there's some foundational things that, and I'll say traits, I don't know if I want to say things, that make for a good mate or a good person, okay? And the purpose of it is, and I talk about this all the time, and if you all follow me, I said at the end, is about peace, joy, and happiness. That your relationship it should be about peace, joy, and happiness. And I talk about that because it's very important. So a lot of times there's qualities that are exude within relationships that help you through your journey of that relationship, right? And it's good to know what they are, okay? So one is, I found, is the major part of our issues within and need to be aware of is our emotional safety. One is emotional safety. One is that person having emotional intelligence. So let's talk about the emotional safety that you as a woman seek for. And you're pretty much seeking for security. And you want someone that you would like to have a relationship with that won't judge you. So it's very important to be secure emotionally. And it's very important to be within a relationship where a person doesn't judge you. Because we're not perfect. And if you are maturing and aging, getting older, you more likely will experience a lot of things. So what you did yesterday has nothing to do with the present. And what happens is that some men hold on to the past of someone else's life. And your past is gone. And if you find a mate to be that way with you, that's not your mate. You just don't have that kind of time. It's not good for you mentally. It is stressful. It is causes, it's pretty much insulting. And when a person constantly brings up your past life. And here's the thing that's insulting about it, and I want to explain that more, is that you gave that person the information about your past life, right? And you believe that they were your mate, your friend, someone that you love, and that you feel secure and comfortable enough to tell them about your past life experiences or past people you knew, and you talked about possibly that person. But then to have that person to come back and throw it back in your face and to judge you is not a good relationship. That's not a good person. That's not a good mate. They may have other things I'm going to talk about. But to me, to be judged about your yesterday is not good because it's gone. You're unable to change yesterday. We're dealing with now, and we can only deal with the reality of now. You don't have to explain to somebody who and what you did yesterday. A year ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, doesn't matter. If that person hasn't been hurt or harmed or disrespected, it doesn't matter what you did years ago. So you have to watch, especially, and here's what happens, men, when women stop telling you things, and then you go, well, what happened? Well, because when they were telling you things, you kept judging. So I'm just gonna stop. I'm not gonna tell you anything anymore. We're just not gonna talk about anything anymore. So what kind of relationship is that if you can't laugh and talk about the craziness that happened in your life? Because we all had some form of craziness in our life. And you would think that the mate you get with, you can laugh about it. And nothing that you would talk about long, but sometimes you just have a little conversation about it and then you move on. But we look for emotional intelligence. You're looking for somebody that can understand you and can read you and have great emotions. You want someone that responds to you and your emotions well. That's what is a good mate to have, a good person to have into your life. The other thing is the consistency. You want someone that's going to show up regularly, someone that can be there for you, someone that say what they're going to do. They match their actions. I always used to say this: do what you say you're going to do. When you say you're going to do something and change, that's not good if the change made no sense. Now, you understand if a person gets sick, accident, anything like that, but to bring up a fight or cause an issue so that you don't have to do anything with that person now is not a good sign, because you're not matching your words with your action. You're just saying things to get what you want, and that's not being consistent. Maturity. Are you being mature? You look for someone that's going to mature and have self-control by not lashing out when things don't go their way, because you don't want someone to blame you for their not understanding whatever they have in their mindset. Because we should be able to have a conversation and talk about it. But if it's difficult to talk about our issues, then there's going to be a difficulty in the relationship. Because the purpose sometimes of a relationship, you're looking for a person that has drive and secure, because they're working on their life as their ambitions. They're doing things to be out in the community. They're going in the right direction. They're making decisions that signal leadership and stability. You look for that type of person, a person that is driven. that has purpose. You know? And so that makes to me, a good mate. What else makes a good mate? Somebody that supports you. Support you and respect you. Someone that respects your values, someone that respect your business life or your family, someone that will support you with what you are working on, but at the same time give you your boundaries. You know, they don't evade your boundaries, that they give you the respect to be supportive of your boundaries and your goals and your voice of what you're deciding to do. And they encourage you to grow. And that is a person that is supporting you and respecting you. It's very, very important. One of the other things, and I'm just going to do a few more, is I talk about is emotional and I guess I would say protection. You want someone that will emotionally and physically protect you. And it's very hard and rare to do that. But until that happens, you should just date, because it's hard to find a good mate that's going to truly emotionally and physically protect you. And I say that because sometimes when we get into long distance relationships, it's, to me, difficult for a person to provide emotional and physical protection because they're not here. Meaning, you don't get to see them often. You don't get to sit down and have a conversation if it's just sitting at the park and walking together. It's difficult because someone has to make a decision to travel more often to see the other. Or you have to figure out how to make that happen. And when it's difficult to do, or you're both striving to produce or be greater within your business life or within your family life, just in working and taking care of your home and your life, the emotional side and the physical side is going to be rare. So you're looking for somebody who can protect you and defend you. Emotionally, it could be, them defending you when you're not there. Physically defend you when you are. So it's just, and so when you're not around for that, how is that going to happen? And I feel you seek someone that can give you that, so that that's what's the makeup of a good mate. And this is the one other thing I really wanted to just make this last, because this is a great conversation that we talk about all the time. And this is why I'm creating the group that will bring us together so that I can do more raw talk about how you do things to keep them successful and growing and better. And that has a lot to do with romance and your sexual connection. A person has to pay attention to your emotional, physical mindset, but they also have to be connected to your emotional and physical connection needs when it comes to romance and sexual. That mate has to see the intimacy to connect you. And it's hard, and just like I just said about long distance relationship, it's hard to sustain that if that person cannot provide that. And you might have to just let it go, because they're not able to satisfy you the way you would like to be satisfied, because they're not here. And if you want that person to do that, then you got to make a decision about where you want to be. Do you want to stay here, or do you want to change? Do you want to go where they are and they want to come to you? It's very important to fulfill our emotional, physical needs. And that's what I call that part of intimacy. And that's one of the main stones I talk about that you must have within a relationship to keep it successful. It is very, very important. And so I just wanted to give you a few. I'm going to talk about some the next time. And we'll go on because I'm going to talk more about what, men define what a good woman is. But the things I gave you are what I find that most of my clients felt were the signs of a good mate. The emotional safety, the consistency, the maturity, the emotional and intelligent, their purpose and their drive, and their romance and sexual connection. I guess we'll say sexual connection, their leadership, and their respect and support for you. Okay? Those are very important. And there's much more. And I'll talk again about some other things that would also help you within that field of having clarity in a mate. And I find that these are very important. Because you deserve to have someone who may just say the right things, but you deserve to have someone who lives by the right things. And it's important to choose a mate that you knowingly know will give you some form of standards without apologies. So I hope that the information I gave you will help you understand, hey, there's some things that it takes for we need to be aware of to have a good mate. And it's important as women that we be more mindful and aware of what makes us happy and what makes that relationship successful. Okay? So I hope this information helped you. Then remember, if you're in a relationship and you're right now in a relationship, make sure it's about peace, joy, and happiness. If those things change, if you're constantly at odds, if you're constantly arguing, if you're constantly having a problem, you have to fix those issues. You have to fix it. Go to one of my videos. I talk about the 6 cornerstones of great relationships. Watch that video and it'll help you understand what it takes to have a successful relationship as well. What I just talked about is what it takes to look for a good mate and be aware of a good mate. And hopefully that type of understanding of what a good mate exudes, you have greater relationships. Okay? And if you're single, just be patient. A mate is around. It's only love is just delayed. Okay? So we'll be back and we'll come back talking about more about love, love, love.